Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Welcome to Talking Politics. It must be Friday afternoon. I am Robert Press, official reporter for the Bronx Chronicle, Parkchester Times, Co-op City News, and host of this TV show. Enjoy the sunshine right now because once it gets dark later on, it's going to start raining very hard tonight. And the rain should continue into tomorrow morning. Let me just get right into everything now. President Biden's plan to forgive student loans has hit a roadblock, as oral arguments in the Supreme Court are not going his way. And the Supreme Court may just rule against the president and say you can't forgive those student loans. Now, one of our favorite subjects of late, George Santos, it appears that there has been a committee formed in the U.S. Congress to see if he was lying and cheating and stealing during his campaign and if they can throw him out of Congress. However, here's something that the committee has also found out. They're investigating our own Bronx Congresswoman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and how she paid to go to the Met Gala. There are questions about other things such as the dress that she wore that said tax the rich on it, her car rental, and well, it appears that now 6 months later, those items have been paid for. Here's some great news. COVID numbers, which were over 10% at one point in New York City, especially here in the Bronx, where we were the worst with COVID, are now in the Bronx. COVID is now under 2% as of Wednesday. These are figures that come out from the governor, Governor Hochul, every day. And the Bronx is second to only Manhattan, who has been under 2% for 3 days, going the whole week. You can check my blog at www.100%bronx.blogspot.com for the latest COVID numbers for the 5 boroughs. And only, like I said, Brooklyn has lower COVID numbers than us. So we're now under 2%. We are the second best borough out of the 5 and when it comes to the COVID numbers. I have to go to the state Senate because I couldn't believe this when I heard it from Alessandra Biaggi when she was a state senator. Former state senator Biaggi wanted to legalize sex workers, and now there is a bill sponsored by State Senator Jessica Ramos that is circulating in the state Senate to decriminalize sex workers. It is said that it will increase safety, so sex workers will be able to go to the police that they can't right now, because if they go to the police, they'll be arrested for prostitution. But the question is, the way that the state legislature has handled the cannabis, or if you want to use the real name, marijuana, legalized marijuana, how will these sex workers be set up? Will there be brothels? And just like cannabis in the cannabis stores, will former pimps and prostitutes, those who are arrested, have first crack at getting licenses to perform sex acts in the state? Is the state looking for more revenue? Again, as they say, we're going to get more revenue from cannabis, just like we got from sports betting and from the lottery. All this money is going to go to education. So are we going to have money from sex acts going to education to educate children? I wonder what they're going to educate the children on now. But every time money comes from another source to go to education dollars will leave the pot. So there's nothing gained by saying, oh, we're going to give this money to education, because they just take out an equal amount from the education pot. On to the city. Mayor Adams has an extensive mental health plan. His plan includes 8,000 new units of supported housing, 5 more safe injection sites where addicts can bring their drugs and get free needles to shoot up, a mental health hotline or teledoc for high school students who have problems. He also wants to put $20 million in to support and reduce overdose deaths by 15% by 2025. Now let's see, 2025. Who is up for re-election in 2025? Oh, the mayor's up for re-election in 2025. That's why he wants to do this. Okay. The figures from 2021 compared to 2020 show an 80% increase in overdose deaths. The numbers, though, for 2022 compared to 2021 have not been released yet. Mayor Adams, by the way, has put his foot in his mouth when he said that God chose him to lead New York City, the largest city in the nation, and not someplace like Topeka, Kansas. He's gotten the mayor and other city officials of Topeka mad at him, and they said that Mayor Adams could have made his point without diminishing the great city of Topeka. And finally, there's been a settlement in the over 300 people who were detained, arrested, whatever you want, corralled, abused during the Mott Haven demonstration in 2020 for the George Floyd, after the George Floyd death, I should say. It seems that they'll be getting about $21,000 plus each. But then again, the person who really makes out from these 300 people is a lawyer who represented him, because he'll get up to half of that. So they won't get the 21,000 plus. They'll probably get about 10 or 11,000, and the lawyer will make the rest. So he'll be doing it. He'll be getting his share. What I want to go into now is the Bronx Borough President, Vanessa L. Gibson. On Wednesday, March 1st, she held her State of the Borough speech at Manhattan College. It's the Raymond Kelly Student Center. And, well, what happens is when she was inaugurated, she held her inauguration at Lehman College Lovinger Theater. And there had to be over 1,500 people there. This room at Manhattan College in the Student Common Center, well, I think the capacity was about 500 people. The room was packed, okay? However, I must say, when I looked and I saw there was Mayor Adams was there, the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James was there, New York State Controller Tom DiNapoli was there, the New York City Controller Brad Lander was there, the Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, and the Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso was there. But when I looked to see how much of our Bronx delegation was there, as far as the city council, out of our 11 members in the city council, let's see, there was Councilwoman Parina Sanchez was there, and she was mentioned during the speech, as I'll get into. There was Councilman Oswald Felice, who was there, but he left before the borough president was finished with her speech. And Councilman Eric Dinowitz, almost said Jeffrey, Councilman Eric Dinowitz came in during the speech, during the event, I should say, and left also during the speech because I'm told that there was a little bit of petitioning problems with him. Because right now is when the city council is going out and collecting petitions for renomination. We'll get into that a little later. As far as the state legislators went, let's see, I spanned the audience and I saw, well, it was Assemblyman Jeffrey Dinowitz, whose office is in Riverdale, and he lives in Riverdale. And then there was State Senator Natalia Fernandez, whose office is also in Riverdale right now, even though she represents the East Bronx, because she has taken over the office of State Senator Alessandra Biaggi, who moved her office from the East Bronx to the West Bronx in Riverdale. So right now, until June or July, State Senator Natalia Fernandez, who is the 34th state senator, will be working out of the old State Senate district office in Riverdale. I must say, though, that it was a beautiful speech given by the borough president. She touched on a lot of subjects that she wants to do. And if you saw the promo for this on Facebook, you could see the lovely dress that the borough president was wearing. It was a tremendous event. Again, my only problem is, where was our state legislator and local Bronx delegation? All right. You can see more of the speech on my blog under Borough President State of the Borough speech. And I put up about a dozen photos and also in news outlets that I serve, the Parkchester Times, the Co-op City News, and Bronx Chronicle, I sent a recap of this to the outlets, so you can see it there also. Like I said, it was a great event, but I was looking for our Bronx delegation. Now, as I mentioned, it is now time to collect petitions for re-election, or if you want to become a city council member. And former Republican candidate for mayor, Curtis Lewa, came to Morris Park to endorse. I thought it was going to be a Republican candidate, but he came and he started off with his story. Well, I was over here and I played stickball with Republican Rudy Giuliani and Democrat Herman Badillo. And, as he kept on, he says, and when it finally got to the crunch point, he says, and I'm endorsing Republican George Havarack and Democrat Irene Estrada. Don't make sense. You give a story about Rudy Giuliani and Herman Badillo, who never ran against each other, and now you're endorsing two people in the same race. But they're not in the same party. One's a Democrat, one's a Republican. It don't make sense, Curtis. You're losing it. Okay, as I said, the petitioning is coming, and it seems like we may have some good races in the 11th Council District, where the incumbent is Eric Dinowitz, in the 12th Council District, where the incumbent is Kevin Riley, as my guest is Andy King, looking for his old seat again, so he'll be looking for re-election also. The 13th Council District, where we have not only a Democratic primary between 3 or 4, hello, Kevin, keep the comments short so I can say something. As I said, the 13th Council District, we have a Democratic primary. For the first time in 30 or 40 years, we have a Republican primary, and we have something that's never happened on the East Side that I can remember, a Conservative Party primary also. So, and then there is the 14th Council District, where Councilwoman Parina Sanchez is facing a challenge from the president of the club, of the political club that Oswald Felice belongs to. So is Oswald Felice going to be with Councilwoman Sanchez, or is he going to be with the president of his political club? So that should be a good one. And as you saw a couple of weeks ago, I had Gonzalo Duran, who says he's challenging incumbent city councilman Rafael Salamanca, but we'll see if the insurgent can get onto the ballot. Let me just close with a few items before we go to our commercial. The city councilwoman, Marjorie Velazquez, had canceled her State of the District event, which was scheduled for this past Monday. It has now been rescheduled for Monday, March 13th. However, that date conflicts with an important Community Board 11 Public Safety and Traffic and Transportation meeting, where the Department of Transportation will be coming, and it's very hard to get this guy Keith Kalb to a meeting. He doesn't want to come to meetings. Finally, tomorrow, before our commercial, tomorrow is State Assemblyman John Zaccaro Jr.'s 80th District inauguration. It is happening at Jacoby Hospital, Building 4, the Rotunda. Doors open at 12 a.m., and the ceremony starts at 1 p.m. The rain is expected to stop early in the morning, so there should be no problems. Hopefully, this will go off as planned. And let me go to my commercial now. Thank you.
Do you wish your business makes it to the top list of the most searched for business in the US and around the world? Or are you searching for halal compliant services and products online? Then Halal Finder is your online resource directory, pointing you to the right places and products. Let's help you explore halal products and services of your choice as we manage many halal businesses across the world. Promote your business with halalfinder.com, the only plug you need to grow. Our services include business listing, digital marketing, branding strategy, SEO campaigns, crowdfunding, and humanitarian support. On our Compassion Corner, we offer crowdfunding of halal ventures and humanitarian services. In this section, you can make or receive donations, start donation campaign, and check existing donation campaigns. And by paying zakat and sadaqah to our compassion platform on halalfinder.com, you have supported the poor, widows or widowers, orphans and the likes around the world. Contact us at info@halalfinder.com or call +1 718 822 5555. Get started today at halalfinder.com.
Okay, I see my guest is here with me, former Councilman Andy King. But before I introduce Andy, my producer has reminded me that the brother of Eric Adams, Bernard Adams, has resigned as his advisor. So let me welcome my guest now, Andy King, former councilman of the 12th Council District.
Thank you,
And
Bob. Glad to join you today.
Before you start, I want to wish your wife a happy birthday.
Thank you.
And I understand your birthday will be coming up on March 12th also.
Oh, yeah, I'm right around the corner.
Okay, please tell us why you're running for your old seat.
Well, since 2020 and 21 hit, and I've been in the neighborhood, I have never left the community. And between going to the supermarket and going to the regular stores, or just walking down the street, or visiting a church, or going into a school, even at stoplights, people just, we really appreciate the work that you did and how you handled our district and improved some of the conditions and made us feel really great and inspired to be a resident of the 12th district. And we kind of missed that, and some folks are like, we really would like for you to come back. Are you able to come back? Do you want to come back? If so, let us know, because we really got your back and we really miss you. And we hope that you will do this. So after a number of conversations and people coming to my house, calls and texts and, well-wishing, I just decided, I would answer the call of the people and more importantly, count my counseling with my spiritual advisor and through Christ, and just having the right conversation that to make sure that my spirit was right to be able to go out and serve the people. So I decided basically about 2 weeks ago just to do what the people asked and ask for everyone's support again to allow me to run and represent them in the 12th district.
Just for full disclosure, I did represent Councilman Andy King on Community Board 11 for a few months, but I was not paid. And I believe that if you want to go into what happened and why you were, I don't know, let me ask you, what did you do wrong that you were, that you were expelled from the city council? I mean, were there any charges that were brought out? Were there any, did you break any laws? I mean, please explain it to us.
Well, no laws were broken. As my attorney told me when he first looked at all the allegations, he said to me, King, you're not going to win this because it's political. He saw through as minute he looked at how things were worded, how things were written, and throughout the whole process, when the council standards and ethics committee, which I say, they had their marching orders because it was political. And no matter how much evidence they presented and how much my attorneys refuted it, discredited it, proved that there was quote unquote lies or mistruths, or even that the documents were inaccurate, and even to the fact that one of their own out of HR for the city council, after she finished testifying, clearly she identified that King didn't violate anything, but it didn't make a difference because it was political. So with it being political, it's a sad thing that it happened to me, and it's a sad precedent that they set. Because if someone doesn't like you or the speaker don't like you, then what do we do to get rid of a council member? As one elected official who headed the Bronx back at that time, he says, King, you're good on the work and the legislation, but we just don't like your swag. I'm like, whoa, am I in high school? Well, I don't even understand that one. But, that's what it boiled down to, So as some people tell me, I got in the middle of people's political agendas because of my work ethic, my commitment to serve, and more importantly, my spirituality. I'm a God-fearing, Christ-serving brother, and I'm not afraid to say it or talk about it or be about it and walk in it. And I'm not trying to change that essence for anybody because that's who I am. That's what Christ made me to be. So when the people do what they did, all I can do is pray for them, forgive them, and keep moving forward and serving the people.
That's right. And we, not only you, but I believe several other council members were ostracized too for feeling the same way. You had Reverend Cabrera, you had Reverend Diaz, I believe Chaim Deutsch from Brooklyn as well, and maybe one or two others. But now, what makes, I've heard that they said that you served 8 years in office already since you won a special election. Do you believe that? Because if that's true, then Kevin Riley would have to leave in his last year in office because he would already have served 8 years. So what do you say to people who say, well, you've already served 8 years in office?
There's a lot of people who got opinions. I leave it up to the people and the professionals and the attorneys who know how to read the rules of the game. And if you don't know how to read the rules of the game and understand it 1000% and interpret it correctly the way it is intended to be read and delivered, then you're just offering an opinion. And all of us have one. And as I understand it, I am capable of running, and whatever happens to any other candidate or anybody else who their numbers look like, that's all for them to try to manage and figure out. But at this moment in time, I'm able and capable of running again for the 12th district. And I'm looking forward to having a good race and being able to serve the people again, God willing.
The political landscape has changed since redistricting. Congresswoman Alessandra Ocasio-Cortez has picked up Co-op City, and Congressman Jamal Bowman has been pushed up into more of Westchester, higher up in Westchester. And there's talk that now State Senator Jamal Bailey may be looking to bail out since he's surrounded on one side by AOC, on the top by Congressman Bowman, and then he has State Senator Gustavo Rivera, who there's rumors that State Senator Gustavo Rivera wants to be the new county leader. So there's talk that State Senator Jamal Bailey, the current county leader, may want to be going for a judgeship comes either this year or next year, where he could just sit comfortably for 10 years and be reappointed for 10 more years. Would you miss Senator Bailey if he became a judge?
If that's what he desires to do, and if that would help the people of the Bronx, if that would help whatever judgeship, if he's able to acquire, help improve the conditions of the people of the Bronx, I give nothing but praise and kudos for him. All I want to see is, I'm a resident of the 36th Senatorial District, and all I just want to see is representation that improves the lives of people who are in elected office that are doing the right thing by the people, not of themselves, and being genuine to serve. There's a difference between people who get elected to office and do a job and people who serve. I look to serve people, and it's not a 9 to 5. It's being accessible and being able to help people at any given moment in time and never any quit in it. And so, these are the individuals I like to see represent and serve, not only in the 12th district, but all across the city of New York. If you're running for office, be somebody who's ready to commit. I know I do understand being liked is one thing. And, we can like a lot of people. We can like a lot of dumb people too. But at the end of the day, we need people who are dedicated, committed, and smart.
Has Councilman Riley changed anything that you had put forward? Has he improved on anything? And what might you change that he is doing or not doing right now?
Well, unfortunately, I have not ever sat down with Kevin Riley to talk about any of the things that I was doing, anything that I had in the queue. And I live in the neighborhood, so I can't even attest to anything that has happened that I can point to that has improved the conditions. Whether it's happened or not, I'm not going to say it hasn't or has not, but I do know White Plains Road has become a real debacle with the parking spaces, the bikings that's happening up there, and I get plenty of complaints, and I do understand because I live it each and every day, trying to navigate the new traffic patterns and the traffic that's there, and it hurts our small business. I've gotten a lot of complaints from small businesses. Who's thinking? What thinking was this? When I was in the council, one of the things I fought against was changing up the cookie cutter approach when it comes to traffic, because not every plan or every scheme fits every neighborhood or every roadway. And I knew that as a council member, because we are a council we are a council district. The 12th district is a community that people drive a lot. And while people have access to all type of public transportation, I think the new layout of White Plains Road, whether it might have worked on Boston Road or Gun Hill Road, for White Plains Road under the train, it really did a disservice.
And I'm just going to say at this moment that I would like to invite Kevin Riley to come on, since he will be running against you, and anyone else. I believe Pamela Hamilton Johnson might be running again. I would like to invite anybody who is running in the 12th Council District to come on, as I have done with the 13th Council District, where for the first time in almost 40 years, there's a Republican primary and a Conservative Party primary. That's never happened here in the Bronx, in recent times. But I, like I said, I know you. I've covered your many events over the course of your councilship, and I would love to see you back in office, and I'd love to see Kevin Riley defend what he's done in the 2 years that he's been in office. Now, I understand that you held a press conference, and it was a very healthy press conference. There were a lot of people there. So you have a broad support in the community, I gather. The only reason is, why wasn't I invited to that press conference?
Well, I will apologize if you did not get the email or the text to show up on that day. We did go out and reach out. Communications did reach out. So I don't know why it didn't, or it, because some addresses I think did bounce back to us. So whether someone typed another 0 instead of 100, might have put 1,000, and then that's what ends up happening. So I apologize to you.
And finally, I know you were very much involved in the schools with your youth, your YEP program. Can you give us an update on that? Has that still been continuing?
Yes. Actually, we are in our 18th year of the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program. I started it way back when Fernando Ferrer was running for mayor, and I was one of the North Bronx coordinators for him. And I started something called Youth for Ferrer. And after Ferrer, obviously, Bloomberg was victorious. The children, I had like 60 kids after school. We would get together, and when Ferrer would come around, he was like the Pied Piper running around the neighborhood with these kids running behind him. So after the campaign ended, the students, they was like, "What do we do now, Mr. King?" And out of that was born the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program. And I kept them engaged, civically engaged in the community, helped them build themselves, understand the worth of a young person, the rules of engagement to be able to become a successful adult, and all these things that we put in place that just for self-development and empowerment of the voices in the mind and the physical development. So we've been doing it, and we're at Richard R. Green, one of the schools that we just helped fight charter schools from trying to take it over. So we were happy and successful with that. But the kids meet every Friday. Actually, we got a session tonight with the kids. We do wonderful things, like we've took them up to Caucus Weekend this weekend. We take them to plays. We empower them to have their own sessions. They sit down with NYPD. Actually, we do have what we call connections, and coming up in March that the young people will have a sit down with NYPD. We keep them engaged with seniors in our community, or our founders, to make sure that they understand one day they're going to be 60 or 70. And, when you're 13, you don't realize you might get a bad hit and you might crack a joke on somebody, but you don't want nobody cracking a joke on you when you got a bad walk. So this is what we're doing to help improve our young people, and what they've experienced over the last couple of years has been devastating in their development. So we just want to try to help them navigate and catch up, because we have 12-year-olds today that are actually still 10. You got 16-year-olds are still 14. You got 17-year-olds are still 15 because of the 2 years of development, social engagement that was lost due to the pandemic. So we're just trying to help them, be stable and move forward, and understand that, we're not faulting you for where you are, but we want to help you get to where you need to go.
Okay, well, our time has run out, so I want to thank you for coming on. Hopefully I can bring you back on where we could talk some more about this, and see that you're leading in the campaign. And thanks to you for coming on, and wish that the other candidates in this race would come on. So thank you, Andy King, for coming on. I know you as a friend. I know you as a terrific legislator, and hopefully you'll be reelected as councilman to the 12th Council District. So let me just say goodbye to everybody who watched. Thank you for watching. And you can email me at 100percentbronxnews@gmail.com. If you have any comments about this show, that's 100percentbronxnews@gmail.com. Or if you're a candidate who wants to come on the show, just email me. Thank you.
Undoubtedly, Africa is the best tourism destination on Earth. The continent is blessed with the most conducive atmosphere. To feel and enjoy these blessings, join the most productive one-week tour of the continent organized by Daylight Africa every September 2nd to September 9th to see beyond the fallacies about Africa on the mainstream media. Contact us at daylightafrica@gmail.com or call 7